Saw some signs on the A35 saying Bloxworth bluebell walks, so I thought I'd go for a bluebell walk, find out what it was about. And yeah, it's quite a nice woodland, so I've brung me GoPro, so I'll take you round and have a looky. Okay, you won't see much hazel, usually the only hazel I've seen on the way round. Most of it's like this high forest, oak, a lot of ash, an occasional sycamore, and various things in the understory. And over this away, it's all been planted with conifers. We'll go and have a look at that in a minute. But here we've got a nice ground flora. Bluebells, obviously. Wood anemone. And lots of nice stitchwort. Celandine. Oh, a lot of pignut just coming into flower. Pignut, coarse nature woodland indicator, as is wood anemone. And over there is a very big boundary bank with some wood spurge on it. And over here we've got something else. Let's just let this guy go by. So remember this boundary bank. And over here we've got a little enclosure, and it says so they planted an oak tree, and right beside it there's the remains of a big old oak hulk. Not much of it left. But just over there we've got probably the biggest Ruscus cutifolius, butcher's broom. Very strong ancient wood indicator, and that's probably the biggest one I've ever seen in my life. And over here we've got a huge boundary bank which is absolutely cracking. And there was another one just that way, a little way. And that's the other side of that, remains of that big old oak hulk. So we'll wander around and see what else we can find. Nice primrose. And just over the back, see the green? That's wood spurge, which is again an ancient wood indicator. And here's another ancient wood indicator. This is red currant. And it's the native red currant. See it? But always take that one with a pinch of salt. Once upon a time someone might have had a cottage in here and had red currants in the garden, and these are gone wild. But I've seen it scattered about all throughout this wood. And if we have a look from here, you can see some people. And the bluebells are a picture. And you see it's a totally different structure in the wood than mine. Well, mine in inverted commas, the coppice are working. See, it's more like continuous cover forestry. As I've walked around, I've seen quite a lot of cut stumps. Some like that one down there, been cut a very, very long time. That's an oak. There's another one over there. There's signs of other stuff being cut from time to time. There's an oak here that's lost its top. It's just blown out. It's rather nice to see that no one's been in any hurry at all to come and tidy it up. And it's still alive. It's put out all this epicormic growth on the side and a little shopper growth on the top. So it might stagger on for years and years. Eventually it might make a full recovery and become vigorous again. So there's plenty to see here, and there's more of these red currants. Look, there's a fern here which isn't bracken. Let's see over there, another one. There's quite a lot of them, all very scattered. There's a couple of ferns, I don't know which ones, which are again ancient woodland indicators. This taller one is bracken, just here. You can see it looks completely different. You can see the difference here. See how different that is. It might be ordinary male fern, but it might be something else. I don't think it is, it's too small. My botany's not good enough. Let's wander along a bit further past this badger set and see what else we find. Here we've got another ancient woodland indicator. It's here. Is wood sorrel. That's a celandine. So quite a nice list. This wood's been here for quite a long time. Just a little bit further on, you can see all these hollies. They're all made into little cushions, yeah? That's deer. And there are a lot of deer in this wood. On the way back, we'll stop and have a look. We can see where they've all been chewed and nibbled. They've turned into these little cushions. More through here. And if you copy down, you can see that the hazel is all clear down near the ground level, where the deer have eaten all the ivy. Where the deer have eaten all the ivy leaves. And you can see the effect of deer browsing on that holly over there. It's a cone nearer the ground, and then it flares out. And this holly here has been ring barked. Turn 180 degrees. You see up on this wood up here, there's quite a lot of oak coppice stools. Let's go and have a look at them. So bluebells have petered out. Going up here, we've got these things. These oaks are all stag-headed. You might have heard me talk about stag-headed oaks in the past, referring to dieback in the crowns and retrenchment. These are all stag-headed at the base. These have been coppiced a long time ago, and they've basically singled themselves full of holes. And they may be older than the maiden trees. And these are all maiden trees down the slope. They're not standards. They only become standards when they're in coppice, when they're deliberately left. You can see the size of this here. That's got to be 10-12 foot from there to there. And that's all one tree. Lovely. Cut again and again and again. See what else we can find. This tree here, all puggled at the base, may well be an old coppice stool. Don't actually know. Did one there. Did one here. Stag-headed one here, and someone's Eeyore house on it. Another coppice stool, another one, another one, another one. That's a birch. Here one. So you've got a group of them on this little hill. The slope drops away on all hands. Good one here. That's a branch out of the top of there. Nice bit of deadwood. Big stool here on the left. lots of deer damage. You can see how they're all chewed off, and if you look at it, looks like it's been eaten or chopped off with secateurs. This is deer getting hungry in the winter, because holly is very palatable, although quite hard work. I used to cut it and drop it in the New Forest from holly pollards, in a hard winter to feed the New Forest ponies and other livestock. This is a big stool. A lot of dead wood in the top, which is nice. Big lying trunk. So from the size of that, that's my hand. This is a truly ancient tree. And from here, 2 meters across. Isn't that nice? There's another one here, which is even bigger. More over here. Let's have a little look over here. So there's less people about. Shame people talk so loudly. When I was a little kid, my mum used to force me granddad to take me for a walk in the woods, and she went and did for me grandparents every Friday. He always used to tell me, "You keep your mouth closed, boy. You're flapping your mouth, you won't see nothing." Unfortunately, that doesn't seem to apply these days. Oh well. A little bit further on, here's weirdness. Got this little coombe or valley going up around here. And someone appears to have dammed it. Turn this into a pond, and you've got a runoff scar through here. Don't think it's entirely natural. I need to go and look at some old maps. Right, it's gone a bit further. Another oak coppice stool. See, it's all puggled. There's remains of more here. So if you're walking through woods, you see trees like that. And then you see trees like that. Yeah, the wood's been worked. There's more up here on the right. All multi-trunked and stag-headed. See it? Some dead ones over there. Line of 3 here. Pair there. And some more here. More up there. Ordinary young maiden, yeah? Struggling for light, but no. Stag-headed again. It's a lot older than it looks. Right, let's go on a bit further. Let's see if we can let these noisy people go by. An anomalous little tump in here. See it? Little round hummock. Is it a tumulus? It's an old burial mound. Sweet chestnut. There's more sweet chestnut. Long derelict coppice stools, like this one here. Little one on the right. A big one over there. And the remains of one over there, look. Hopefully the GoPro can pick it up. And straight through there. Remains of one here in front of us. So at some point, someone's planted these. Sweet chestnut is a very good coppice wood. Grows vigorously. Another one there remains of. Another one here remains of. And the wood, as you can probably tell from this, is naturally durable. Oak rots quite a lot quicker, especially the sapwood. And over here we have conifer forestry. Not entirely sure what these are, does anybody know? Someone's been in here at some point with a forestry tractor. And there's a boundary bank here, run along from right to left. As this knocks through, I smell fox. And you can see the boundary bank here, so you could probably chase that through the wood and trace it. Let's wander in there. If you've been listening, you probably have heard a lot of bird song. As you wander in here, not only have we lost the ground flora, but I think you're going to find that the bird song is going to decrease quite markedly. I'm going to guess that this is hemlock. So there's a little bit of bird song coming from these trees. They seem to be a fairly narrow band, but quite a lot of it is coming from behind us. This is a different moss than we've seen before. Obviously there are specialists in this kind of really shady, low-light, damp conditions. Can you hear what the bird song's doing? Let's walk back this way, staying on the path. And walk back towards the village. They're advertising cream teas. We'll see if they've got any gluten-free scones. I suspect as usual I'm going to be shit out of luck. So I could have the jam and cream but without the scone. Not quite the same. Right, shut the camera off here. Maybe talk to you a bit further round. Fancy was taken by this tree here. I'm going to turn you on your side. Any nice big old oak. Fairly open grown because he's got a big wide canopy, although there's signs of retrenchment around this edge. So some of these younger trees have grown up and have overshaded him and he's lost branches. But recently this great big branch on the left has dropped out. You might say, oh, it's time to fell it. It's right over a path. It could be dangerous. But oaks will live many years with damage like this. And you can see after this big branch has come out, he's started to grow back over here. There's branch scars here and here, where probably a branch has died, a smaller branch, and it's healed over. But that is a good nature conservation tree. That's going to be full of different dead wood, especially as it keeps going. Lots of things require dead wood, and there are species which will live in there, but not there, because this is all dead wood. although there are different conditions like in this wet bit here. But this chap, as time goes on, will be full of rot hollows, and the outer parts of the tree are still alive. And there are fungi and things which feed on those particular fungi, and the fungi require rot inside the living wood. So a tree which you might think is moribund is actually a great wildlife resource. It's nice to see that big branch lying. There's another one here, much older, and not cleared up except for like the minimum. Make it lay flat and make it safe. Just on the right here, there's another sweet chestnut leaning over the path with its root plate sticking up. Which again is nice. Right, shut the camera off. Maybe talk to you again in a little while. Okay, as we walk down here, you'll see on the right Rhododendron ponticum, a very common rhododendron, planted a lot by the Victorians and Edwardians as cover for game birds. You hear the motorbike from over there, just beyond this plantation. There's the A35. And over towards the A35 there's a lot of rhododendron. Might shoot something over there on the way back home. And this here, you can see the difference. This is ivy, sorry, holly, not ivy. And a bit more rhododendron ponticum. You can see how it behaves, these sort of wiry stems. Sort of lollop about, and they drop and they root, they spread out further, and basically they sucker and the whole thing grows out into a clone. Not very much underneath it because the leaves leach as rain falls on them and produce several toxins. That and the dense shade, because these are evergreens, tends to prevent other things from growing underneath them. Very little actually eats them because they're cyanogenic. You damage the leaves, break the cells, you mix two different chemicals and an enzyme, and you get a cyanide compound produced, which is pretty poisonous. I believe I'm right in saying you can crush it up and stick it in a jam jar if you want to collect insects and euthanize them for collecting. Not that I do that, but people used to do that in the 20th century and 19th century to collect different insects. There's another rhododendron here, and I spent days of my life cutting this stuff down to try and remove its effect on woodland. Because you can imagine that spreading out over many decades. You can get the situation where you've got very little on the ground floor, and even in the absence of deer, you don't get very much in the way of natural regeneration of trees. So you get an old generation of trees, very little in the way of new trees eventually to replace them. Rhododendron ponticum. I think there's about 3 species in the UK that eat it. 2 of them will eat anything, and 1 came into the country with them. If anybody knows any different, please post in the comments. Seems to be snowing, doesn't it? But there's a cherry here. And this is a Prunus avium, which is a sweet cherry or gene. Not bird cherry, I'm told. That's Prunus padus, even though avium, of course, means bird. And you can see up against the sky, hopefully, it's in full flower. And what looks like snow drifting down is actually the petals falling off. And there's a young one. And there may be other youngsters around, such as this one, which have come off the root system of this older tree. There's a video on the channel about Gene and the way it suckers and produces clones. Keep seeing stuff I'll turn the camera on for to show you. Hope you don't mind. This is going to be quite a long video. Here we are back at the edge of the wood, back at the boundary oak, which is over here. I just wanted to show you another view of this big old boundary bank that runs along here. And a big old oak with a big healthy crown, and look at the ivy underneath it, and look at the pattern it's making. That's this one straight through here. And you can see that the nice healthy crown is suppressing the growth of the ivy. And that could go on for decades upon decades like that, until and unless the ivy gives up for some reason and dies, or the crown on the oak thins out, then the ivy can really go for it and end up acting like a sail in the winter and bring a dying or dead tree down. So that's Bloxworth Bluebell walk, and today is the 30th of April 2023, and we'll finish with this little view of stitchwort and bluebell with a bit of blackthorn. Thank you very much.